Hey, welcome to Growing Devotions for Your Daily Life. Have you ever thought about the things that we say as Christians to people that are hurting? I have thought about this many times and listened to what people say. I got a personal illustration that I want to share with you that deals with this. One of my good friends many years ago had a tragic loss in his family. Unexpected. It was just unexpected. And as Christians, I think we feel like we have to say something. We have to be inspirational. We got to help them feel better. So, of course, we go and say, you know what? God would not put more on you than you can handle. This person looked at me, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, Chris, but I believe my little red wagon is completely full. And when they said that, I felt extremely small. They were not disrespectful, but I thought, why do we have to say something? As a pastor in the early years, I remember walking into a family's living room and everybody's grieving over the loss of grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad. And I remember feeling the urge to say something, just to say something. You know, when is it the right time to speak? I often get very frustrated as I listen to people speak, trying to sympathize or empathize with those that are going through loss or hurt. For instance, if somebody loses a child and passes away, if they're still in the womb or they're just a few weeks old, people say things like, truly they say these things, well, at least you didn't have time to really love him or love her. Well, you know what the good news is? They're in heaven now. Well, you know what? You need to thank God because you have two other children. Some people would even say, you know what? That's one less mouth that you'll have to feed. Or look on the bright side. You didn't have to go through the pain of childbirth. Some people minimize others' hurts. Like cancer really isn't a problem. Losing your hair, an organ, or a limb, it's not really a problem. Some people try to explain God behind the scenes. This absolutely drives me crazy. When they say things like, this didn't catch God by surprise. And I think you think everything was written down before the foundation of the world. You think he didn't know all this was going to happen? Or I guess God knew that y'all wasn't ready to be parents yet. Or you'll find out who your friends really are. Or God must have known this baby wasn't meant to be. Or you know what God's doing? He's pruning you for good works. And some people would even say cancer is really a gift from God. Some people blame the other person. They say things like, you know what? If you would have had more faith, your daughter would have been healed. Or if you're going through something in your life and they walk up to you and say, is there any unconfessed sin in your life? Do you need to just get right with God? Hey, maybe God is punishing you because you had a negative thought and this is why this disease is in your body. How about this? Maybe you're just not praying hard enough. Some people do this. They compare their past experiences to your current hurt. Let's say that your father or mother passes away and the person that has gone through this loss say, well, I completely understand what you're going through. Do not say that because you don't know what they're going through. You may have lost your mom or dad at 60 and they lost their mom or dad at 20. You can't compare to what they're going through. Maybe they had a terrible relationship with their father or mother and you had a great relationship with your father and mother. We shouldn't compare our hurts to their hurts. We may be able just to sympathize, but empathize is very different. So be careful in saying, I know exactly what you're going through. Or, you know what, that's not as bad as the time that I went through this. Really, my sister-in-law had a double mastectomy. You only lost one breast. Things such as that. You know what? People would say you should be grateful because God is just refining you for what he has for you. Or that person's an angel now in heaven, which is not true because they're not an angel. That's not who we will become when we get to heaven. Or, you know what? You just need to thank the Lord because he's with the Lord now or she's with the Lord now. I say all that to say this. Proverbs 15:23 says, "A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good it is." Translations, how pleasurable it is, how sweet it is, how good it is when a person speaks at the right time. So what are we to say when we walk in that living room and that family's grieving? When we're standing in that line waiting to speak with the family at the funeral? Sometimes nothing. Or sometimes just, "I love you and I'm sorry." I never forget, a woman lost her husband after 60 years of marriage, and she walked up and she said, 6 months later, she said, "I am hurting so bad." And I said, "I have no way to compare what you're going through, and I don't know what you're going through." Sometimes we just need to hug them. Sometimes just a card. "Hey, I'm thinking of you." Instead of bringing gifts or food, sometimes just take them out to eat, sit with them, listen to them. Sometimes it's not about being spiritual or being, "I need to say something deep from the scriptures." Just sitting with them in their living room, not saying anything at all, sometimes is the best thing that we can do. There's people that are grieving all around us. You know what? Just be there for them. Hope you have a good day. God bless you.